You've probably heard about the attachment styles. So in this video, I want to share with you how I personally have been healing my anxiously attachment style. Hi my love, if you are new to my channel, it's so lovely to meet you. My name is Magda K. I am an intimacy expert, tantra teacher, and a conscious relationships coach. And I am also the founder of the School of Intimacy, and right now we are running a 7-day free trial. So if you would like to explore tons and tons of courses on any aspect of your intimate life, make sure to check the link below this video to get your 7 days for free inside the School of Intimacy. And now, today's video. So I want to share with you what I personally have been doing in my life to heal my anxiously attachment style. So yes, I have a tendency to be very anxious. And the reason why I wanted to record this video for you is because when I first understood that this is my attachment style, that this is my tendency, I really learned about it in the moment when it totally took over my life and I was in so much pain. I honestly didn't think that there was anything that I could do to ever change this. So basically what happened is that I got out of the relationship where this anxiety was really triggered, and I was in anxiety and pain so much every day. Like I couldn't pretty much operate. I couldn't do anything else because I was so stuck in this pain. And I was already familiar with a lot of tools, and still I felt helpless. But I actually now, when I look at it and I look at those years of the practice I've been doing, I really have managed to move very close to a secure attachment style. So I want you to know that it is possible. And in this video, I will tell you exactly the steps that I have been taking. So we have 4 attachment styles. We have the first one, secure attachment style, which is basically when we have a healthy approach to intimacy. And then we have all of the other styles, which basically means that we have not developed a healthy attachment dynamic, and so we are just trying to compensate for what we were missing as children. So on one hand, we have the anxious attachment style, which means basically we really need intimacy and we cannot survive without it. So it's like we need it. We're very needy. Then we have the dismissive or avoidant on the other spectrum, which are people who are afraid of intimacy. They still want it, but it's just really triggering and very scary for them to open up. And then we have what we call a fearful avoidant or a disorganized attachment style, which is basically a person that moves between being anxious and dismissive. Like I said, my tendency, as I discovered, is to get anxious about the connection and love. And this is something that actually was a bit interesting for me to discover because I wasn't aware of this. See, in my previous relationships, it's not something that really came up. I wasn't anxious. Like honestly, I've gone through relationships, intimate relationships, where anxiety did not show up. And on top of this, there are moments when I actually get dismissive myself, when like someone is opening up to me, and if I'm not ready for this, I'm just like, leave me alone. So it was a surprise. It was a surprise to learn that actually I can get extremely anxious. And how I discovered this was by dating someone with really big dismissive tendencies. So basically, I was in a relationship with a partner who was actually fearful avoidant. So it was a combination of being love bombed and then him running away in so many different ways. And that is like the worst dynamic because this is actually what gets us addicted. So it was this nonstop hot and cold, push and pull dynamic that was absolutely driving me crazy. Like I was literally getting crazy. And so when this relationship ended, like this is when all the pain came rushing through my body, where I was in pieces. I was like sobbing hours every day because this is what this anxious attachment style really was doing to me. So like I said, I was surprised to actually discover that this was my tendency because it only showed up a few times in my life, and it only showed up when someone really triggered it by being extremely dismissive with me. So this is when I really dove into the attachment styles theory. I had already known about it. I was familiar with the concept, but I really went in depth to understand what specifically causes it, and more importantly, how to work with it. So this is now the core of what I want to share with you. I want to tell you about the specific tools that I have used. And I'm talking about the tools that I discovered through multiple reading and studying and working with different coaches. These are the things that have really made the difference for me. So let's get to it. Number one is to actually ask myself, what do I need? So one of the aspects of being anxiously attached is being a people pleaser. So that means that I was always so focused on what someone else needed. And in that specific relationship, my focus was nonstop on what it is that he needs and basically abandoning myself in the process. And so this is what makes this whole thing even worse, because now I don't feel that he is taking care of my needs, but I am not taking care of my needs either. And this is really what creates this incredible wound of abandonment. So the first thing that I started doing is simply asking myself, what is it that I need in moments when that intense anxiety would come up? So I remember this until today, even though it happened many, many years ago. But after the breakup, I remember I would have it's like waves of anxiety would just flood my body, and I would get so angry, and just in my mind I would be saying how could he choose her over me? By the way, it gives you an insight into why we broke up. But I was just so angry. I was so angry because I was thinking you told me all of these beautiful things, that I am the one, etc. And then you just go and, choose another woman over me. I was so angry. And I felt this anxiety. I need to speak to him. I need to tell him what I think, whatever. And so in these moments, I would practice asking this question, what is it that I need? And the big revelation really was that what I was angry about with him, I was doing that myself. So I had this realization that I'm angry at him because he chose someone else over me, but I was doing the exact same thing to myself. I was choosing him over me because in that moment, this anxiety was trying to get my attention because I needed something. And instead of actually listening to myself and choosing myself, taking care of myself, I was being focused on him. So for me, that was it really shook me to realize wow, I am abandoning myself. I'm angry at him for the very thing that I do to myself. And so this is when this became my practice, to just check with myself. Okay, I feel anxious about someone. I feel like I need to message them. Okay, what do I need in this moment? What do I need? Not that I need to talk to him or I need to get a message from him. No, what do I need? And then when I find it, this is when I can make sure to give this to myself, and this would always ease the anxiety. The second practice, and I think this maybe is the biggest one for me and something I do until today, it's journaling, but on a specific question. So again, when the anxiety comes up, it's because we add a story. There is a meaning that we add to a certain situation that is causing this anxiety. So this is exactly the question I would journal on. The question is, what meaning do I add to this situation? How do I interpret it? What does it mean for me? And anytime I do this, I'm always going to find something around, that I don't feel I'm lovable, I don't feel that I deserve good, that I deserve to be in a relationship, or that people will like me, I'm not likable. It all comes down to me not really feeling sure about my own worth. And then the second thing that I do when I journal is kind of challenge this and just ask myself, can there be any other explanation for this situation? So let's say if there's someone I like and I don't think that they're interested in me, and so the anxiety can kick in. So I would ask myself, what's the meaning that I am creating in this moment? And maybe one of the meanings is that, he doesn't like me. That's a meaning, I may not be sure. So then again, I can check, can there be a different explanation for that situation? And hey, maybe he already has a girlfriend. So maybe it says absolutely nothing about me and me being lovable or attractive, but he's simply a good guy because he's in a relationship. So this would be my journaling practice that, like I said, I do till today. I still do it now. It's my go-to practice. I did it for, like, I would almost do it daily when I was really working on my anxiety, and now I can just do it every now and then because the anxiety doesn't show up as often as it used to. Number 3, and it's to show yourself love and compassion. So one of the aspects of being anxiously attached is that we are so fast at finding fault in ourselves. I am too loud, I am not loud enough, I'm too ambitious, I'm not ambitious enough, I'm too fat, I'm not pretty enough, whatever it is. But we're like non-stop trying to, find the reason how I am not good enough. And if I only fix myself, then I'm gonna get all the love that I desire. And this isn't really a very loving approach, right? Like, it's really self-negative. But if you think about it, all of these attachment styles, we created them in childhood because it was our way of taking care of ourselves. It's like it was the 6-year-old Magda that created this anxiety, and I didn't do it because I'm a wrong or bad person. This was a strategy to survive. And when I think of myself being 6 years old and not feeling loved, not feeling seen, and then just trying to come up with any possible way to survive in a world that to a 6-year-old can feel very scary, that just makes me feel a lot of love and compassion for that little girl. So that was another thing that I have been practicing, is to see myself as a little girl. Because when we do, it's kind of hard to be angry at ourselves and put ourselves down. That makes me really want to shower myself with love. Number 4. This one was very interesting because not many people talk about this as a strategy to heal the anxious attachment style, and I found it to be really helpful. And it's to learn and become aware of what specifically causes your anxiety. Because, like I said at the very beginning, I have not been anxious in many situations. Like, there are some specific scenarios where I really got anxious, but there are other times when I felt perfectly secure or even dismissive. So there will be something that is putting me in that anxiety. So if you're able to identify what makes you triggered, then you can ask your partner or other people in your life not to do something or to do something to help you move through it. So there's one example I remember from my past relationship, and I always give it as an example of this strategy because it was so easy. So we actually had 2 separate bedrooms. That was his request. Again, that's his dismissive part, that he felt more comfortable with this. I did not. That was really triggering my anxiety. And then especially the nights when he wanted to go out, because then that was playing on my deep wound of feeling left out, like I don't belong. So here he is, out with his friends, having great time while I am in my bed trying to fall asleep. And so that specifically was causing me intense amounts of anxiety. And what I did is I asked him that if you go out, when you come back home, please come up to my room, wake me up, say goodnight, and then go and sleep. And I don't care if it's 1 a.m. or 3 a.m. I don't care. I need you to do it. Because even if that meant being waken up in the middle of the night, that little thing allowed my nervous system to calm down and for the remaining hours of the night actually have a deep restorative sleep. But if that didn't happen, I was actually waking up still feeling anxious, high on cortisol, and not really rested. So just observe yourself. Which behaviors of your partner have this tendency of really triggering you, and then ask him, ask her, do this, don't do that, so that your anxiety doesn't have to be triggered so much. And the last one, number 5. So like I told you, sometimes I can get dismissive, and I was watching this, kind of curious, why do I get dismissive? Because I'm anxious. Why am I dismissive? And I realized I get dismissive with some people when they get extremely anxious. And so I would get dismissive because it's way too much for me. It's like it's suffocating. And it got me thinking, that it's really not nice to be on the receiving end of that anxiety. Like, I realized that probably my partner felt horrible anytime I was getting so clingy and so needy. And sometimes, we don't really understand something when we do it, but when someone else does it, we really get to watch it and observe it and just realize objectively that it's really not nice. So I've been really watching other people in my life who are very, very anxious, and then seeing how I do not enjoy their company, and how basically if they just calm down a little bit, we would have a much closer relationship. But because they're so needy, they're so much all over me, and I don't get any space, I want to run away. And so I'm seeing with some of my friends, some of my people, that their anxiety is literally what causes the other person to move away, which is their biggest fear. And so through watching that and realizing how I don't enjoy being on the receiving end, that really has worked as an extra motivation for me to really check in anytime I want to act in a very anxious way. So my love, if you are someone who struggles with the anxious attachment style, I hope that this video was helpful for you and that you're going to give it a try. Or maybe you are not anxiously attached, but you decided that you're still gonna watch this video. So I would love to hear in the comments below, what is your main attachment style? And hey, don't forget to check out the School of Intimacy. There's a lot of courses, over 50 hours of content, all dedicated to helping you create secure, healthy, and long-lasting relationships. You're going to find techniques to communicate so that if you are anxiously attached or dismissive, you will find it easier to ask for what you need and express your needs and boundaries. There's a lot of courses and tips on how to really drop into the full expression of your sexuality and enjoy those famous tantric full body orgasms. So the School of Intimacy is for men and women, singles and couples, who want to enjoy the most fulfilling, intimate life. It will help you connect to other people, connect to life and yourself. And like I said, we are currently running a 7-day free trial. So if you want to check it out, no risk, for free, make sure to go to www.magdakay.com/school or check the link in the description of this video. Make sure to check it out before the trial is over. My love, thank you so much for being here. If you would like more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to my channel, click that little bell icon to get notified when a new video comes up. Also, please give this one a like, and I would love to connect with you on Instagram as well. It's Magda K Official. This is where you get to connect with me on a more personal level. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you soon. Bye!